I wasn't originally planning on ordering anything during the Vinegar Syndrome Black Friday sale in 2022, but there were a couple of movies I kept thinking about, so I impulsively placed an order in the final hour of the sale. I really enjoyed making that one sale haul video, so I wanted to do another one. But when the movies were delivered, I just didn't have the energy to make the video. The holiday season last year was really draining. Then I planned to do the video after the holidays, but a few days into the new year I already had a lot going on. I had a work injury, I received a jury summons, then I became the target of someone's narcissistic shame rage spiral, which lasted for months. After all that, the movies I picked seemed a bit too heavy thematically. So they sat in the box unopened for a year. But I feel like I'm ready to check them out now. It's finally time. The movies I ordered aren't actually Vinegar Syndrome, but were both released by one of their former partner labels, Fun City Editions. I had previously gotten their Blu-ray of Alphabet City, which is fantastic. The first movie I got is Radio On from 1977. What first caught my eye about it was the cool soundtrack, featuring some music from Kraftwerk, Devo, and my favorite musician, David Bowie. The Bowie songs are from an era in his career that I'm quite fond of, where he moved to Europe in the mid-70s, made a trilogy of albums with Brian Eno, and produced 2 albums for his friend Iggy Pop. It's usually referred to as the Berlin period. What also attracted me to Radio On is the striking black and white photography. The look of it actually makes me think of David Bowie's Berlin period. I'm not one of those people that thinks of the past as being in black and white. However, Bowie's Berlin period is one exception. Whenever I imagine it, it's happening in black and white, as perhaps an influence of some of the associated imagery, including a few of the album covers. There's also this great book I have, Bowie in Berlin, A New Career in a New Town, which also has some black and white photography. The imagery I've seen from Radio On is reminiscent of that. Speaking of music and cover art, I love the design for the packaging of this Blu-ray. It looks like a cassette tape, and it's based on the Island Tapes cassettes released by Island Records in the 70s. The other movie I got is Morvern Caller. I was struggling with the pronunciation, but I think I've gotten it down.
Morvern Caller?
Morvern Caller.
Morvern Caller?
This is Morvern Caller. Morvern Caller.
The main character, Morvern Caller, is played by Samantha Morton, who I really like in the movies Control and Minority Report. Morvern wakes up one morning to discover her boyfriend has died, which prompts some questionable choices. She keeps his death a secret, passes off his recently finished novel manuscript as her own to a publisher, and she goes on holiday with her best friend. The premise is intriguing. It reminds me a bit of a film from the 70s that I'm quite fond of called The Passenger.
A man who's just found a way out. He's changed places with a dead man.
I'm assuming Morvern Caller lacks the thriller aspect of The Passenger, but shares the existential character study aspect. And it's maybe not a Christmas movie, but it takes place during the season. The shots in the trailer with the Christmas tree in the background remind me of Eyes Wide Shut.
Nice tree.
They're both movies that aren't really about Christmas, but take place around Christmas time. And the holiday has such a presence in the movie's atmosphere and mise en scène. It's like a subgenre of Christmas movie. What would you call that? Non-traditional, untraditional, Christmas adjacent? If you have any ideas, let me know in the comments. The soundtrack seems really cool on this one too. It even features one of my favorite Aphex Twin songs. I've seen people online pointing out similarities between the two films. They're both road movies set in the UK. The catalyst for the story of each film seems to be the main character's loss of a loved one, and each one seems to have a cool soundtrack. I've seen suggestions that they would make for a good double feature. I know I've spoken before about my affinity for double features. There's something I really like about pairing two movies together for a double feature. I guess it's sort of like the movie equivalent of a mixtape, just with two really long songs. So while I was interested in both movies individually, the prospect of them being a good double feature really intrigued me. I believe you can still get these two movies, just not through Vinegar Syndrome. Fun City Editions previously worked with Vinegar Syndrome's sister company, OCN Distribution, but now they're working with the MVD. I made another Black Friday purchase this year from Vinegar Syndrome, so I'll probably make another video when that package arrives. It should be a lot more lighthearted than this one, so come back to check it out. And that's all that was in this order, so thank you for watching and have a good night.